past this is to really begin to understand what it takes to have an effective program and all of the effort that goes into that. So as we go through, ask whatever questions you have as we're going through. I'll take my time to answer those, and then we'll also have time at the end for some discussion. So as we move forward, you know, there's no such thing as a dumb question. There's no such thing as really not getting it. So I just want you to kind of relax, and we're going to go through this process together. And again, I'll answer whatever questions you may have as we go through. Now, what are we going to do? We're going to explore what purpose and vision mean in an out-of-school time program. We're going to look at what it means to understand the value of having clear and aligned direction, and then explore the opportunities for the creation of purpose and vision within each of your programs. So as we go through each of these steps, again, realize that this will all come together. Some of it may seem a little bit out of sync to you, but it'll all come together as we get to the end. Now, the purpose is defined as an anticipated outcome that is intended or that guides your planned actions. Now, sometimes we can go into a project and really not have that end game in mind. So that anticipated outcome isn't always real clear. Or it may be real clear to us as the director or the person who's kind of heading this thing up, but not necessarily clear to those who are participants in it. So I'd like to make an analogy here, one that I think is probably applicable to nearly everyone, and that is the Saturday morning soccer games that each of us has probably either attended or at least seen as we've driven by. Sometimes as we go through the things that we do within the programs that we have, we feel like people have been directed sufficiently to go out there and play the game, only to realize that once the ball hits the ground, it all just gets bunched up. And sometimes people don't have clear direction as to what they're supposed to do, so they just go after the most obvious thing. Sometimes people aren't being used and they get bored or stagnant in their position, and they just don't flow through well. Sometimes we have accidents and it draws attention away from whatever it is that we're supposed to be doing. Sometimes people from the outside can see what's going on and they just kind of cringe at what's happening around them, but yet they don't say anything, or we don't recognize that that's what's happening. Sometimes we can have mass movement in a particular direction, but we don't know if that direction is actually accurate to achieve the things that we're wanting to achieve. Sometimes, again, things just happen, and that becomes what's important at that particular moment. Then, in a bright, shining ray, somebody can break away and really be on the right path, or so it seems, and until they get most of the way there and find out that that path that they're so dedicated to and so driven to achieve is actually leading to something vastly different, like scoring in their own goal, which isn't what we wanted to have happen, but even the guardian was asleep on this one. And so that, as a leader, is frustrating. It's tough to see that happen and tough to begin to really realize that, okay, we've got to do something different here. We've got to get everybody focused on what's really important. And even those who are driven and working hard in the organization, they may even bristle at the concept of doing things like this because they thought they were headed in the right direction. So getting everybody back on track can be a difficult thing, but one of the best ways to go about doing that is by having direction, or having that very specific desired outcome that we're really shooting for. Once that does occur, great things can happen. So I think, all of us have been through, or at least many of us have been through this situation of the Saturday morning frustrations in the soccer game, and they're really not frustrations because they're learning opportunities for kids, and it's fun just to watch them have fun. But I can assure you, as a youth coach in the past, it can be terribly, terribly frustrating. I can assure you that as a youth coach in the past, it can be very frustrating to have feel like you've communicated what's supposed to happen, only to realize that it isn't. So, moving through in an organization, why is purpose important? I just wanted to share from you some respondents, 23,000 respondents to a survey that indicated the following information within the organization. Only a third of them said that they understood what their organization is trying to achieve. About a third of employees said they have written goals that pertain to their work. Only about 1 in 6 said that they stay focused on the most important things. 25% of the work is spent on urgent and irrelevant things. Only 1 in 10 people report being energized and committed to their company's goals. When we have data like this, it really helps you get a glimpse of what's truly going on inside of an organization. Less than 15% of employees say that they are diligently focused on the most important goals of the organization. So what are they doing? Going back to our soccer analogy, they're chasing after the stray dog that ran onto the field. Only about half of the workers feel that their jobs allow them to apply all that they have to give to the organization. And what a shame that that many resources are going to waste. So what happens when vision meets talent? Take a look at this video clip. It's a good illustration of what happens when vision collides with talent.